Well, hello and welcome and hello. Happy Friday. It is Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more. People have been asking me, hey, Danny Deals, why do you only talk about SoFi stock? Is that the only stock you own? Is that the only stock you follow? No, I do own and follow many stocks. One of them, of course, being Tesla. That's one of the stocks that a lot of people said, what's your opinion on the stock? I have been a shareholder for years. I've flipped it, near the high up in the threes. I was fortunate enough to pick up some shares down near like $20. Not a tremendous amount. No, Lambro didn't make me wealthy. Just, paid a few bills back in those days, just paid off the student loans and stuff, so there wasn't a tremendous amount of money to be throwing into the stock market. I was trying to invest what I had in real estate, not just my residence but speculative real estate, that whole thing. So in any case, guys, I've followed Tesla quite closely. I find Elon Musk fascinating, maddening. One of obviously the most dynamic entrepreneurs and public figures, and just there's so many narratives. There's so many sort of push and pull. There's so many sort of little sub plays going on with Tesla. They have this compensation package. The board is trying to get people to approve $56 billion for Elon Musk. Was struck down by the Delaware Chancellery Court. They want to reincorporate in Texas. I don't think they're really going to be able to do that. And then you have this other narrative. The push pull is sort of, people are saying like robotaxi versus economy car. There's been a bunch of articles about that recently. Elon and Tesla kind of pushed back. They don't usually talk to the press unless there's some, narrative that sort of becomes prominent that could actually hurt the stock. But anyway, I just wanted to, people are saying, hey, why don't you talk about some other stocks? And then I was noticing also that, if you actually take a look at the chart, it's not extremely different than how SoFi behaved. There was a line that was sort of basically it's trending straight downward at this particular angle in two sort of tranches from the top. Um, if I zoom out, you guys can't even see my screen. I'm totally zombified. I've been trying to cut back to my actual allotment of coffee that I'm supposed to be drinking, and it's definitely not easy, but it is necessary. So, as to paraphrase KRS-One, but anyway, so you see sort of it coming off the top, and this line here, it's basically resistance all the way down, nice and consistently. It flips right there at that circle and becomes support as the stock just sort of continues that, as it made this big move up from 150 to 300. And you see, the algo is working very similar on SoFi, on Neo, on many other stocks that are popular with retail investors. And you see this very sort of extreme price action, highs and lows. You see always testing the lows here, but then if you notice on this previous run that was from, topped out there in November 2021, you see it continually test the top of this trend line. And then September 2022, it kind of breaks down, and you see it swing down below the 50-day moving average, make this sort of dramatic low, and then it pushes back up, moves side. It's just, I don't know, this chart just looks like there could be sort of a move up. You see this similar breakdown here, and if you zoom in, the stock's just trying to break through that 50-day. And I don't know, there's just, whenever I hear just so much fear, so much FUD in the media, so much of the narrative that the stock is dead, that's when I feel like maybe you should be buying the stock. Of course, the recent lows were way low, got down to about 100 and then went back down to like 120s. So a lot of people are saying just wait. There's no near-term, upward catalyst. Like a lot of people now on YouTube, like the deliveries didn't work out. The growth story is just, not where they wanted it to be. So if you look at that, they're like, a lot of these guys were just, it's just totally unrealistic. Like, one company is not just going to come in and just take over the entire world and put all the other companies out of business and grow from, to a share price. Like, this guys on YouTube, they're like, for years they've been saying, Tesla's going to build 2 factories every single year. They're each going to make 2 million cars. So by 2030, Tesla will be making 40 million cars. Some of these guys, the one guy, with the goatees, like, the share price should be $38,000. And then he gets this look on his face like, sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? And then, this other guy, it's like Australian guy, is talking about he took his rental properties, and every time they went up in value, he'd max out his loan on the rental properties and use that money to buy Tesla. Oh my God, I couldn't think of like a worse idea. And then there's other like this like bald guy who does the napkin math, explaining what the revenue is going to be on the robots alone. And it's like, I don't know. I'm not saying Tesla's never going to make revenue on, humanoid robots, but it's like, let's see these things first working in Tesla's factory. Like, if they're ready to take on these tasks, like, why aren't they doing it? It's just too much smoke, not enough fire, too many mirrors. Like, things are promised for too long. And then as a shareholder, like, I was so disappointed, when the fundamentals. It's like hotcakes, stack them high and sell them cheap. Like, you're trying to, move units here. You're trying to change the world. You're trying to end, ICE cars. You're trying to end pollution. That was sort of the narrative they put out in these like Tesla master plans. And I just don't see how Cybertruck fits any of that narrative, their environmental plan. I mean, it just breeds environmental destruction. These giant truck EVs like the Hummer, like the Cybertruck, they're not efficient. They cost, a ton to make. And yeah, maybe they don't have any pollution at the tailpipe, but think about what it costs to move one of these vehicles around that weighs. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why didn't they do the economy car ahead of the Cybertruck? It's a tiny D energy. It's a vanity project. Just as a shareholder, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And then it's been kind of a public relations nightmare. I mean, pickup truck guys, they don't really want this Star Wars truck. And then, Tesla loyalists, they don't want a vehicle this size with this efficiency that doesn't have FSD. So I don't know. I just see kind of the Cybertruck as like a massive, like long, expensive boondoggle that's just never going to be a big source of profit for the company. Now, maybe the R&D efforts, the engineering, they can apply that to all sorts of other things. Now, I think on the other hand, Tesla Semi, I think could be very, very good. But again, there's just so many questions right now that, I think the stock is worth something around $200. I'm definitely a hold on the stock. It's not like I dump my shares at these levels. I don't see any reason to. I think Tesla still has an important first mover advantage, but you just want clarity from the company, like what's going on with the supercharger network. They're halting construction on this stuff. They're halting payments. It just, the market, shareholders, you want certainty. You want predictability. And that's just what you don't get with Tesla management, i.e. Elon Musk. There's just so many questions you don't have answers to, and they don't have investor relations, really. They don't have media relations. They don't talk to the press. You get these choreographed cheerleader presentations where you're promised the world, and, a lot of it is true, but how do you sort it out? How do you know where the stock is going? So, it's a very, very challenging stock because they're just moving it all around. So this is an interesting article today, Reuters. Hello and welcome, by the way. Welcome and hello. I don't think anybody on my channel particularly wants to hear about Tesla. Yeah, I was out in the sun, guys. I'm getting my nose sunburned. So the glaring lights here in my faux office studio. What's up, Mustang Rider? Greetings, welcome and hello. What's up, Roland Dubs? How's it going? Bobby Joe, hello. Thank you. This is my traveling hat. I don't think Tesla had the tech production capability, low budget of $5 million. We need more international factories, steer-by-wire upgrades. Yeah, that's an interesting point, Ross, is like, build the factory, then introduce. I mean, Ross, you have to think they have the engineering, they have this thing mocked up, ready to go. They've had tests, they have, because obviously they can do a lot of the design work and simulation. They don't need to be like testing this thing out on the road. They have, the geometry. They have a lot of this stuff worked out. So, good comment, Ross. Thank you. Also, I do agree with most. It just took longer than we thought. Can't turn back now mindset. They didn't have the turning radius yet. SMR, I want to know if Y will cut prices again because 99 tax credits are nice. Yeah, I mean, Ross, Tesla presents a really good value proposition right now with what you get for their vehicles for the money. I think they're already very, very competitive. I was looking at like what a Toyota Tacoma pickup loaded is like $65,000 now. So people looking at the price of the Cybertruck, Tesla vehicles are actually, I think, a very good value, particularly with the recent price cuts, particularly when there's tax credits, stuff like that, for what you get for your money. Now, there are complaints, sometimes the battery doesn't last as long. Sometimes there's other, problems with fit and finish. But I think, over time, they're going to get better. Don't forget this, a relatively new auto company in these Model 3, Model Y, they've only been making these cars less than a decade. A lot of other car companies take many, many years. Think about Hyundai. When they were new, they were making absolute junk. These little, $4,000 or $5,000 cars that just fall apart, totally unsafe. And, here it is, but it took several decades until they started making some really high quality vehicles that were competing with the Japanese. So, you have to think the way Tesla innovates and engineers, constant improvement, not just, hey, we're going to make a new model, then we're going to improve. They're constantly improving the vehicles all the time, constantly re-engineering things, constantly trying to make things better, constantly trying to take parts away, constantly trying to make things simpler, which will lead to less failures, more efficiency, etc., etc., etc. Oh my God, that was like a 400-word, 1,000-word sentence. Hello and welcome. Welcome and hello. I see two of my favorite people in the world here. It's Alberto Bertie Avilés and not a lurker, J Money, gracing us with their presence, their wrenches, keeping the masses in line. You guys should be okay. I don't think there's really anybody here. I think there's 19 people watching. But hey, yeah, people aren't used to hearing me talk about anything other than Tesla. But Tesla was up a couple points on the day. Pretty boring. JHEX got cut in half with a reverse split. Not particularly surprising. But one of the lessons from JAGX and Tesla and many other stocks, including SoFi, is like when the stock seems to get irrationally overheated, take profits. Like JAGX, I'd been losing money for years in that stock, and all of a sudden it fell down all the way to like 6 cents. So I bought a bunch, 6, 7 cents, and then all of a sudden, for no particular reason, it went up to like 30 cents. And it's just, trading that's just pushing on it. And people are expecting this P3 data, but also people should be expecting a reverse split because that's what was just announced. So I took some profits. I'm like, when does a stock 5X in like couple, 6 weeks? So, it's just, you have to think like it doesn't matter what it is. A lot of these YouTubers were telling you, that kept telling you to buy Tesla like as it was pushing up to $400. And it had just run off of $20. That was the floor for years on the stock. So you have to look at it, the stock had 20x in just a few years. So you have to take profits. It doesn't matter. They're not selling, magic beans. They're selling cars. It's a stock. I mean, this thing, like I said, was just $20 at the end of 2019. And then in the end of 2021, it's $400. So just think about it. Like, it's just crazy. And it's only moved back down, to 100, but that's still 5 times where it was just a couple years ago. So it's a very extreme stock. The rhetoric on both sides is very, very extreme. People are saying it's going to $40,000. It's going to dominate the entire world. And then this robot math, like, is Tesla really ahead in robotics? And they got this huge bump in the stock price, making this announcement that they got this regulatory approval in China to do full self-driving robotaxi. But I mean, is that really big news? If you look at CNEV Post, May 15, Baidu Apollo launches sixth generation robotaxi with 60% lower cost. Baidu's self-hailing platform Apollo Go is close to break even and aims to be profitable by 2025. So this is the sixth generation. They launched at Apollo Day in 2024 in Wuhan, which I think is where COVID came from. Hubei province, costing 200,000, so it's $27,000, a 60% drop compared to its predecessor. And Tesla's talking about the robotaxi and the economy platform. I don't know, they're not talking about it. Us U-turders and speculators and other idiots and such as myself are talking about it. You know, that project has to become one, and it has to take on a huge sense of urgency. I remember the Australian guy who I actually like. I can't remember his name. He's the big Tesla guy. He's like, you know, stubble young guy, very brash. You know, he's like, Tesla's lead is insurmountable. It's unassailable. It's undeniable. Like, if you don't believe Tesla's gonna, you know, crush all the other car companies, you got shit for brains, mate. So it's like, you know, BYD already caught them, already passed them, like, you know, and they're making some very good vehicles, and their strategy to get that volume has been to make, you know, lower cost vehicles that appeal to the masses and give just enough features to get the job done. Of course, Tesla's in sort of that, you know, mid upper sort of semi premium segment. That's where they're, you know, scaled in against, you know, BMW Model 3. Everybody talks about the Model 3 there as a comparison, or sort of the mid-size sedans and mid-size SUVs versus the Model Y. So a lot of its positioning, a lot of its marketing, a lot of its narrative. But the fact is, China is not just on the heels of Tesla. China is surpassing Tesla in a lot of ways. As you know, I made some NIO videos. I'm both a Tesla investor and a NIO investor, but right now, I'm just a hold on Tesla. I'm very strong buy on NIO just for the battery swap. They just signed another really big company to the battery swap alliance to make 7 companies, some of which are the biggest car companies in China. And then they have Sinopec, BP, some of the biggest oil companies in the world on board with battery swap. I know those partnerships are not extremely active yet, but it's like, okay, they might fail, they might get crushed, they might go to zero. Tesla already has, you know, first mover advantage, scale. But a lot of Tesla's unique advantage is that supercharger network, of course, the over-the-air updates, the full self-driving. But full self-driving revenue right now, they're in, you know, a big lawsuit over whether they should have been selling that because it's still not really officially working the way they said it was going to be working, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they just keep lowering the price on that, try to, you know, get some revenue going. Anyway, what's going on, guys? Yeah, the moderator team here is without a doubt. What's up, Nicholas Jungworth? Good to see you. Catching 2 shows in a row. Yeah, I'm just trying to, like, dude, it's been just a hell of a week, guys. I know, God, some of you guys on vacation. Oh, I'm so jelly. I wish I was back on vacation with Princess J, the best person in the world. But anyway, we're both back working hard. Back to the grind, on the grind, all the time. But in any case, guys, I know there's just a lot to do, but kind of making these videos just kind of a way to blow off some steam. Don't drive my partner crazy with all my blah blah when I get home from the office. Hope you guys had a good week, by the way. It's un poco mas. I kind of forgot what I was talking about, but if you look at this, it's not just like NIO, it's not just others, but this company on its 6th generation, $27,000. They're going to have 1,000 6th-generation robotaxis in Wuhan by the end of the year. Fully autonomous robotaxi network operating costs will be reduced by 30% through the optimization of self-driving technology efficiency. Service costs will be reduced by 80%. So they ventured into self-driving technology in 2013, was one of the first Chinese companies to enter the field. Its 5th generation robotaxi was released in 2021 when Apollo and BAIC's electric vehicle brand Arc Fox jointly unveiled robotaxi for ride-hailing called Apollo Moon. So this article, this company is relatively small and it's relatively obscure, but remember, this is what just got Tesla's stock that big pump, and it's sold off since then because the regulatory approval isn't really everything. They're still going to have to demonstrate that this thing, that FSD actually works in the real world. And while the demonstrations that I've seen of the latest generation of FSD are amazing, um, it's incredible what Tesla's accomplished. I don't want to take away from Tesla and say, the fact that they've pushed forward the EV revolution, the fact that they've sort of pushed all these other companies, particularly the Chinese, but Europeans, Americans, and others to, stop thinking about a car as a car that's just a brick that can't be updated. Start thinking about a car as an upgradable computer with all sorts of capabilities. I mean, Tesla has really, really changed the world, I think, for the better in many, many ways. So, but first mover advantage, being first, having an idea does not guarantee you're going to be the leader forever, does not guarantee you're going to be the one to make all that profit, does not guarantee you're going to be the one to make the most margin. The Chinese are very, very good at building high quality stuff these days in volume. The Vietnamese are getting involved. VinFast, there's other players. Of course, the Europeans are partnering with the Chinese. I think all of it is a chess move to try to, stave off Tesla. Like, VW says, I'll take Xpeng, Center Square, Chuck Woolery to block. And, everyone was scrambling. Remember GM and all the domestics with Ford, they're like, we're going to be all EV by 2035 and we're going to go after Tesla. We know Tesla. And the whole tune has changed because everybody's anti-EV right now. They're not selling. They have to cut production on the F-150 Lightning. Quite frankly, Tesla's having to cut all kinds of things, cut interest rates, cut prices, cut deals, cut corners, whatever you want to say, to sell some of their vehicles. And I'm seeing anecdotal stories all over the media of Tesla storing, tons and tons of vehicles that they can't sell. So I don't know if that's the case. We'll have to see sales versus production. Maybe they're storing some of these vehicles for export. I don't know. Maybe they're just starting one of those sort of sculptures they do out on the way to Vegas where they just put a bunch of cars somewhere out in the desert. Never to be seen again. But anyway, block everyone. Nobody's watching anyway, Alberto. Who cares? What's up? We got Dylan Fudley is in the house. It's going pretty good, Mr. Fudley. How are you this Good Friday, sir? Mr. Premium of the Option. Oh boy, Tesla's one of my sweethearts. Covered college cash secure puts. Yeah, I've made a lot of money trading the stock. I made, a lot of money for me. I'm not like one of these Tesla millionaires, but I was, I had a few shares early and got out near the top and then been going in and out, ever since, but always keep a core position. I really, this company's doing so many things, but in terms of robotics, I don't think it's there. I want to see evidence of this robot working and learning in a Tesla factory or running a Tesla cafe or, filling the cars. Why isn't the robot servicing cars? Like, I just don't think it's there yet. I think it's years away. I think other companies are ahead of Tesla on robotics, not just Chinese companies. It's in Boston Scientific. I don't know. Everybody's just like, okay, Tesla's going to own this market. Tesla's going to own the supercomputer market. I heard a lot of people saying that Tesla's going to own the chip market. Tesla's going to own the battery market. Like there's Chinese companies. It's not just BYD, CATL, smaller companies like NIO. It's their, solid state. I mean, you have numerous companies in China already putting solid state, semi-solid state batteries in vehicles. I know NIO ET9 with the 150 kilowatt pack, they drove that bastard like 650 miles. I mean, they're not at Tesla's heels. They're at least equal with the technology. I mean, I know they stole a lot of the technology. I actually heard one of the Chinese CEOs who, came out with a new, I think it was when they were talking about the Onvo sub-brand at NIO, the L60, whatever it's called in Ladeo in Chinese, like, they're saying, hey, we disassembled a hell of a lot of Tesla Model Ys to make this. And it looks a lot like the Tesla Model Y, but they're, that's not unique just to Tesla. You're like, it's not just Sandy Monroe who tears things apart and, drinks whiskey and no, I'm just kidding. I love Sandy. But in any case, it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe he has a relationship with Tesla that it just sometimes it seems a little bit shticky. Sometimes it seems a little bit too much, like the praise, the heaping on the praise, because at the end of the day, the USP in Tesla, people are like, okay, the cooling system, the engineering, the efficiency of Tesla is so much better than everybody else. But I'm looking at the statistics with the Chinese companies, and it just isn't. They're very efficient. They have cutting edge technology, whether some of it was stolen from Tesla, stolen from others, help from the government, et cetera, et cetera. Like, there is a lot of competition. Everybody was saying Tesla has no competition. Tesla's going to take over the world. Totally wrong. Totally wrong way to look at this company. But I still think Tesla can win, can maintain a first mover advantage. But I think it requires focus on this lower cost vehicle. I mean, look at the vehicles that they should be emulating: a Toyota Corolla, Honda Civic. These are vehicles that, kids want, affluent kids want. These are vehicles that, these are vehicles that everybody wanted back in the day. That's what you want: a low cost, efficient, simple vehicle that's cool, reliable, stylish, a little bit sporty. The renderings that I've seen from Tesla are fucking amazing. Make this thing. Why'd they put so much resources into the Cybertruck? I don't get the Cybertruck. I don't get the economics of it. Just doesn't make any sense to me. It just seems like a boondoggle of like litigation and recalls, and I just personally just don't find it that appealing. I mean, I know it's not the target market because I'm going to buy, a used Toyota anyway because I'm an asshole like that. But it's like I just want something that's paid for, that's going to get me from A to B. I don't need to put on any airs. But in any case, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. We're talking Tesla. So this is just one example. There's a lot of these companies in China. They plan to break even overall by 2025, achieved level 4 autonomous driving. And they're using these large model technologies. So basically, it's AI, it's all the stuff that Tesla's doing, and they've collected 100 million kilometers Apollo Go and 6 million trips in terms of data. I know Tesla has infinitely more data, and that's what everybody talks about. That's why FSD is so different. It's not looking at things. Tesla's FSD is kind of on another level. Like, it's looking for that holy grail, that level 5. These guys just aren't completely there yet. But, so Tesla insider still 14% ownership. I know Musk was saying he wanted to own 20%, I believe, of the shares in order to like fully commit to the company. The off exchange short interest was 63%. Short is very low, like 4%. I think people have learned their lesson kind of shorting this stock, but of late really been a lot of short volume ratio in 60s almost every single day. See, back here end of April, 40s, 30s, 30s, 50s, 40s, 50s, and then just about every single day since then the short volume ratio has been in the 60s. But I don't know, they don't show the short increasing, so maybe they're borrowing shares. It's showing the short at 107 million and shares on loan at 25 million. Maybe some of you guys with some book learning, some of you guys who know your alphabet, some of you guys can mansplain to me what the hell is going on with this short. Borrow change today. They were shorting yesterday. They were also shorting, it looks like, but short is very, very low. So a little bit hard to say. Utilization extremely low, short score low, cost to borrow almost nothing. So doesn't look like much significant short on the stock. In terms of the options sentiment today, positive. Drove the price of the stock was up a little bit. A lot of sort of positive stuff going on around. A lot of positive rumors around Tesla. Anyway, like, we don't know exactly what's going to go on. Are they going to, when and if they're going to get this factory going in Mexico, when and if they're going to build a factory in India. This notion that they're just going to dominate the entire market and build multiple factories every single year. Of course, reality has crashed into that narrative, and it's just not going to happen. Remember, if they're going to put Toyota out of business, they're still selling magnitudes more cars. So it's longer off than people think. Like, EV is not dominating everything by 2030. It's certainly shifting very, very quickly that way in China, as well as Europe. America, much, much less. Not so much, as obnoxious people say. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello. Hello and welcome. Premium Adoption is here. Brian is here. Who will pull the rug for us? Dude, you know it. Mr. Poto, Taquit, how's it going, Hurricane? Looking like Channing Tatum. Yeah, I don't know about that. Thank you, sir. Tequila, or ma'am, I'm sorry. Sounds like tequila. Anyway, guys, it is Friday, so longer, bigger Channing. I would buy Tesla if I like it. Yeah, I mean, of course. You should only buy any stock if you like it. 7 like before Alberta Blocks, you don't only. They're a home builder, AB Canada, selling very nice homes, and if you buy, you get a free Tesla Model 3. Yeah, wow, that's interesting. Got to run, head to the casino, throw away some premiums I made this week. Good luck, Alberto. Wow, looks like Robert De Niro in there. Just look, Leo. Oh, you guys. Boston Dynamic. What's going on? Emilio in the house. Mr. Potato Head. Yes, I do look like Mr. Potato Head. I look like his bloated cousin. That is Thinking Caps. Cool as heck. Let's see. Umpoco Tumor Moss. Tesla has no competition. Others will take years to catch Tesla. This will be huge premiums. EV wolves will go on and on and on. I don't know, Alberto. They will take many years to catch Tesla in what respect? That would be interesting because others are catching, like BYD's catching up in units, but other companies I think are catching up somewhat in technology, but they're not really catching up in technology. That's kind of the trick. It looks like they are, but I think maybe they aren't. Truck is a total disruption for the pickup market. I totally disagree, time-lapse car guy Bruno. I think GM is going to continue to sell a ton of gas trucks. I think Toyota's having trouble, but that's of their own making. They kind of shot themselves in the foot with some of their new models, how they priced them, the engines they put in them. People are not super happy, but it is a disruption. I agree it's a disruption, but I just don't think it's going to be a huge seller in terms of volume or profit center for Tesla. I don't think it's going to be as big a disruptor as it might have first appeared. But just my opinion, time will tell. You may very well be right, time-lapse car guy Bruno. I hope those time-lapse car photos are turning out beautiful. Still in Florida, Marco Island, we have something very special planned with Oprah's Thick SoFi bag, which I'm sure all of you will want to see. We have Stedman on board. Sup, Nala, love the Toyota, third Camry owner, have a truck as well. Yeah, I mean, anybody with half a brain in their fucking head buys a Toyota. I mean, it's just the way that it is. If you're fancy, if you're super fancy, buy a Lexus. I mean, I have owned both. I also love GM vehicles. I have Tahoe, C10, Z71. I got too many cars. Alberto here, what's up, big dog? Wet Cave, working hard all week. Can be beautiful. What's up, Gatsby? How you doing, Jay Gatsby? Oprah Stick SoFi bag, not a lurker. Do not sub and like. Let's see. You guys are talking to each other. I'm not a lurker. I'm here. Give me a wrench. You guys all want wrenches. You guys are here. I want a rock. I want a ring. Tom Brady has all the rings. You guys can suck it. I hope you heard that roast. This is some pretty brutal stuff. I don't know. Kevin Hart, dude. Kevin Hart was, dude. He was on tilt, man. I don't know. He was pissed off. Neil's Don Corleone hat. Yeah, it's funny. Beavis versus Butthead. Fire. I need TP for my bunghole. It's like, shut up, Beavis. I like my, the Tundra V8 2016. That's perfect, man, with the 5.7. Like, don't get one of those new ones. Yeah, you will have nothing but problems. Not a lurker has everything going on. I not only tell you how to, shave your head, look absolutely perfect, but, he's a man who I completely agree on his take on the Toyota Tundra and the V8. That's the one you want. What's going on, Catfish? How's it going? Catfish has been absolutely on fire with his channel and the day trading, the growth of his channel. Go on over there, like and sub, check him out. Don't like and sub here. It's the worst mistake you can ever make. I'm losing my voice, guys. I got to get off this stupid show. But good to see you, Catfish. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it, guys. Catfish turns out a lot of good content, not just SoFi content, not just day trading content, but all sorts of content. Hopefully, he's still doing music. But guys, I've been traveling, I've been working so much. I just have not had that much time. I checked in on one of his live streams the other day. It was just absolutely excellent. Tequila also seems to know Catfish in the biblical sense. I think Catfish is spoken for. He seems to have a big clan over there in the backdrop of some of those videos. So Tequila, you might have to just meet up with Catfish in your fantasy life. I don't know. 12 million plus preferred shares going over to insiders Monday at 5 p.m. on SoFi, right? Yeah, I don't, or are we talking Tesla? I'm not sure. I think that's on SoFi because I have been hearing a lot of people talking about that. But anyway, guys, that's just sort of my take on Tesla. I think the stock is pretty fairly valued right now. I think, the big thing is the growth story. Like, of course, you see the annual revenue 31, 53, 81, 96, and you see the earnings going from flat to 6 to 12 to 15. It's just absolutely beautiful. But the last 4 quarters, the revenues have been flat. Last was down. Profits way down. Obviously, they've been in a price war. The interest rate hikes have been hurting sales. They've had to cut prices, offer incentives. They're probably taking losses on these loans to their financing arm. I don't know exactly how their financing structure works. So the bottom line I'm in Southern California, very affluent beachside community, and I still see a ton of demand, people buying Teslas. The economy is going to turn around. I think interest rates are going to turn around. But the harsh reality is, guys, the government's going to have to start giving less incentives and start looking at this debt. I mean, people never want to talk about the debt, terms of the national debt, but it's going to slap us in the face. I mean, it's going to force us to talk about it eventually, because math is math, guys. And, servicing this debt is just going to become onerous, and then it's going to become damn near impossible. So there's going to have to be some entitlement reform, defense spending reductions, tax increase, different things that people are just not finding very palatable politically. So something really has to give here, but Tesla's kind of caught in the middle in the sense of government policy, tax incentives. A lot of these things dictate what they do. And then in China, even more so, the government is really in control of the game at different levels. So I think much too much was made of that regulatory approval in China. A lot of other companies are doing that. So it's not as if they come in and they have some like first mover advantage. I know in the United States we have like Weibo and some of these other kind of fledgling things that were going in San Francisco, and they didn't really work out, and they ran over people and sort of. But in China, this is much, much further along, and EV is light years further along than it is, here in the United States. So it's just, I think people have a misperception. While Tesla does have a lead in terms of engineering and technology and sort of their battery systems, their charging network, there are a lot of other companies that have been working on, the problem of full self-driving, as this company had, that we were talking about for well over a decade. So there is competition for Tesla, but I think Tesla is certainly up to the task. And I think Elon Musk has some rabbits up his sleeve. What else did I want to talk about? I can't even remember. I think I took a photo of my whiteboard so I could I talked about Cybertruck. What happened with the supercharger purge? Like, what was that all about? Like, they canceled construction? I don't know. I haven't heard a really good explanation. Again, media relations. Mr. Catfish, look at him trying to steal Danny. Yeah, he doesn't need to steal my thunder, man. The guy's been we used to have about the same number of subs. I remember, like 2,000, and then I have a couple hundred, and Catfish's channel is like tripled, quadrupled. So he's kicking me right in the huevos, as it were. Huevos! Rancheros. Yeah, we can all get along, right? Get along. All you can do, sweetie. Anyway, guys. Oh, goodness, I'm being called away by the missus. Hey, thanks, Catfish. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for stopping by, brother. So I wanted to see, robotaxi, not really a first mover advantage, but when is this actually going to lead to commercialization and revenue? Because really where they'd have the advantage is in United States. I mean, primarily that's where they'd be commercializing this thing. There's a lot of competitors in China. I don't think the Chinese government is just going to give Tesla that market. Um, and these other companies have already been doing FSD and robotaxi for years. So I don't know. I don't know where that leaves Tesla because they're really just getting started with testing. Um, and I don't know what's the deal with these German anarchists attacking the factory. I don't know why these guys hate Tesla. I think mostly it's Elon Musk, and obviously jobs, union issues, different stuff like that in terms of their domestic suppliers, everything they're doing over there. Um, so robotaxi, other players in China, USA, but when is the regulatory approval? What about all these other things we just don't hear about anymore? Their solar roof, they paid all kinds of money for that solar company, and they have all these contracts that last like 30 years servicing that bullshit. What about the energy storage? What about the mega pack? How many of those are coming in? Obviously, you can go over the report, you can see all these things, but the bottom line is Tesla is still a very dynamic company. There's very few other companies, they're building their battery capacity, but the demand just isn't there right now. That's not their fault. I mean, they were leading an EV revolution. Revolutions don't just come in one wave and go straight up. There's acceptance, they come, and there's pullback, there's resistance, different ways. So I still think EV is absolutely inevitable. It just makes way, way too much sense. And I think Tesla is going to be there leading the way, but I just really want to see them focus on an affordable mass market car. I know they're already doing that. I know, obviously, I'm not telling Tesla anything they don't already know, but I think, like I said, I really think the Cybertruck turns out to be a bit of a boondoggle. Maybe on that platform they could make a little bit more traditional of a truck that's basically the same thing but just a little bit more boxy. I know it's not going to be as efficient with like wind coat, but let's face it, when you're driving a fucking car that weighs like as much as a small house and could go 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, you're not really worried about efficiency. You're worried about trying to compensate for your tiny Vienna sausage, if you know what I mean. But anyway, guys, this has gone on way, way, way too long. Peace, Catfish. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you, man. Bart, eat my shorts. Not a lurker. Birdie. I think Birdie took off to go to the casino and win some more money. He's got enough money selling options, that little scamp. But not a lurker, J Money. Appreciate you. Everybody, I don't really know what I said with this Tesla video. Just trying to share a few thoughts, but I still think Tesla is very good. I don't think they're going to pull back to that $100 level at all. I don't think they're going to shoot up over 200 overnight, but I think, you're going to see it kind of hang around a little bit more, and then I think make a move to the upside when interest rates start coming down. But who knows? I really don't know what's going to happen. Definitely not right most of the time. So it's Un, Poco, Moss. Happy Friday, guys. It's Danny Deals. Thanks for joining me. Peace. I'm out of here.